Waiting to go live. Oh my God. Okay, let's organize my life just a little bit. Maybe. Okay, that should do it. I'm going to say hi to you guys in a second. I promise. I'm a little. Okay, right, because I wanted to get it like. I will have to figure all of this out again. Whew. Hi. Am I even. Can you guys hear me? Hold on. I will have to figure all of this out. Okay. Oh my gosh. I got off work at 2 o'clock. So I was just like frantic trying to get myself together. I guess I should just go ahead and like dress myself for the day beforehand because like normally I'm in my PJs when I work. Right? Because I don't go anywhere. And so after I got off work, I was like, oh, what? Gotta get everything set up, try to get my snacks, gotta get my clothes. And then I was doing some laundry and then also trying to figure out the YouTube stuff, which I probably should have just left that alone for the time being. But anyway, hi, you guys. I know it hasn't been that long, but I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen each other. So, yes, hi, how's mine? Cookielicious, Jazz, Neko Neko, hi, WNML20. You said I'm loud and clear. You guys, so I got a new mic. Eee! Can you see it? It's one of the most popular podcast mics there are. Kichter uses it. I think it's Brittany from Gay Watch uses it. So many YouTubers use this mic. And I got it for a steal. This mic is $439 before taxes are added. You guys want to guess how much I paid for this? Huh? Anybody want to guess? You said crisp sound. Yes, I'm glad to hear that. So that means everything from here on out should be like even better. That's, what I've been trying to gear up towards. I mean, I think even from the not very, very beginning, but almost the very beginning of my channel, maybe volume 2 of Thousand Autumns, things sounded pretty good. But, always looking for ways to improve, right? I see 300. How's mine says 200. Hello. Hey, Megan. She said, oh, yeah, it sounds good. Look, now I want to hear what I sound like. 1 second. Right? I see 300. How's mine says 200. Hello. That does sound good. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, yes. How's mine is correct. I got it for 200. So slightly over 50% off. Someone in the area, well, not the area. We had to do a nice little drive, but someone not too far away was selling theirs brand spanking new, not even out of the box. And he was selling it for 200 and gave us his little story where he was going to start a podcast with his girlfriend, but after he bought the mic, she didn't really seem as excited about it as he was. And I was like, oh, that totally sucks, but yay for me. Yay for me. And so it works really well. And I'm super excited to read with this mic and to go live some more with this mic. It is a steal, right? The next thing I plan on doing is like venturing into OBS. I've already downloaded it, played around with it with my husband and everything, because he's a music producer. So he's helped me a lot with my sound, just the basic stuff. And I'm excited. Y'all, I'm just like super duper excited to level up the channel. Like I don't know. It makes me happy when I can produce something better that's already good. So I'm just like super duper excited. Also, I don't have Twintian with me today, but I want to show you all my mug. We can give it a name at some point, I suppose, but It says, go away. I'm reading, which I'm not reading right now. Please don't go away. Please stay. We are going to be discussing what was read. But anyway, there's tea in here. And then I've got more tea and this thingy. I'm trying to stay away from drinking cold beverages and sticking with like my hot water, Chinese baddie. That's a whole thing on TikTok. If you're not on the with the program, get with the program. And yes, drinking this constantly. So I'm constantly filling this. And if it's in 20 yen, it's going to be hot forever and I'll never be able to drink it. So we have a new cup. Well, I've had this for a while actually, and it needs a name. So we'll name it. Anyway, how are you guys doing today? I hope y'all are doing well. Thank you all so much for your well wishes the other day because I don't know what happened. My body was just like, we don't want to operate properly today. And I was like, why? And so I couldn't go live. And I was so sad because I wanted to talk about the first 5 chapters of Salted Fish with y'all so freaking bad. I was so upset. You said hot beverages are much easier on the voice. Yes, much easier on the voice and are better for the body overall. And so that's, what I'm trying to do. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I definitely should drink hot water with all the talking I be doing, recording, because it takes a lot of time, especially in moments where I feel the gusto last week. All of the chapters that have been read for QJJ this week, they were all done by the 31st of January. It was a lot of recording, and the hot water, it helps. So, you said healing process, you have to take it as it comes. Pretty much is what I'm gathering, which I will say that day that I had to postpone, it was crazy because I didn't feel any physical pain from my adenomyosis or now endometriosis. Like I didn't feel the things I usually felt, just nothing at all, which was so cool. So I was so upset about the nausea and the headache and everything because I was like, this is the first day that I have experienced in over a year without any kind of discomfort there. And I was excited about it. Like the entire day went by, 24 hours went by where I didn't feel that pain. And I was like, why does headache and nausea have to ruin it for me? So, it is what it is. Yes, healing is exhausting. And I'm just like, "Eh." But anyway, I'm super excited to be here with y'all. I think I said that already, but I'm very excited. I started reading this, and this isn't a spoiler or anything, but is anybody else getting the wife comes first vibes from Thrice Married to a Salted Fish? Because I started reading it and I was like, why does this feel like an alternate story if Muhan Jang had, a better situation family wise? This this seems like his situation if his family actually cared, So, but okay, let's see. You said true, that too. Yes. Yes. Okay. So I'm not alone. Was definitely thinking of our previous adventures too. Yes. Definitely a similar beginning. Return to the do they have a writing group challenge? Starts with wedding night. So look, let me go back really quickly because it's been a few days, but it starts. We're not getting all the way in it just yet, but yeah, it does start with the wedding night. That's so crazy. Which technically, the wife comes first doesn't start with the wedding night, but after the start over, it starts at the wedding night. So yes, definitely those vibes. Anyway, you said that's one you haven't read. The Wife Comes First. Oh, don't worry about it. That's our other book club book that we're reading. It's just that we've already finished volume 1 and volume 2 doesn't come out until March the 10th. So we just bounced to something else for the time being, which we're actually going to cover volumes 1 and 2 of Salted Fish because volume 2 comes out next Tuesday. So we'll still be reading this one, but that's okay. You said a lot of books start with similar feel and then diverge. Yeah, I can already feel the divergence, and I'm very excited about where it's going to go. Um, let's see. Can you guys see my Steam? No, just me. Okay, I don't know. And you'll get a little bit of ASMR now, I suppose. Oh God. You read volume 1 of Disabled God of War, and you think it starts with a wedding night ceremony as well. I read the first 2 chapters of that, and I think so. I think it does. That is another one that's on my agenda to read. I just don't know if it's gonna be a personal read or something that I save for the channel. Haven't gotten there yet. I mean, this schedule this year is already full, right? You only read to volume 1 in 2023, so you're rereading this volume, but it's so bingeable. Look, I've been having a really hard time because in order to make sure that we actually have a worthy live session, I stop and I take extensive notes on this. It's not politically heavy yet. Maybe it will be, but even with The Wife Comes First, like nothing is difficult to understand. But for us to have these thorough chats, I'm like, I gotta stop and take notes, and I really just want to read, like fly through it, and I can't. Oh my gosh, that's okay though. That's fine. That's fine. So. Mm, I think we're good to go. I've got my snacks. I don't know if you guys have snacks, but I have some GFB balls. Well, my yes, because the B stands for bites. And my husband thought it stood for good fucking bites or good fucking balls. And I was like, sir, gluten free, gluten free brothers is what it's called. Um, but I'm trying to, it's not all the time, but I'm trying to have a more anti-inflammatory diet, for the endometriosis. But I've got my good fucking balls apparently. And then I also just have some graham crackers, my tea, of course, and frozen green grapes. Very good. It's like a little slushy. Perfect. In fact, I'm gonna bite one now. So good. So I hope you all have your snacks because I don't intend on taking a break unless I have to potty. Um, Frozen grapes are fantastic. Yes, so fantastic. They are the best. In fact, one thing I've been doing is putting them into my blender, which is like a dab of lemon juice, and basically making my own sorbet. It just those 2 ingredients. I know some people add honey or sugar and other things, but I'm just like, nope. Frozen grapes, lemon juice, perfect. Although the other day I added frozen strawberries as well. So let's go ahead and get started. And let me make sure this is on because I don't want that to interrupt. Because we didn't waste any time. We have spent a fair amount of time doing things. Also, I don't know if I showed you guys this, but I have this thing that I now sit my books on so that I don't have to hold the book and I can lift it and a whole bunch of stuff and push it back. And it holds my pages and everything. So this is what we will be working from. Well, what I will be working from. But before I put it back on the thingy, here we go again for anyone who may not have the physical copy. Okay, this is the cover. Thrice Married to a Salted Fish. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. And we have this little bottle containing some kind of stem, herb, or something on the inside. Um, but anyway, this is the cover. And I will show you all the full cover that also goes on the back side. But they have the summary and everything. Hold on, let me make sure I'm trying to make sure I don't hit my mic, but I think I might. That's the full cover. So very, very pretty. You said poison? I would not put it past our male lead. So before I get you said, did I get the special edition? I didn't. And the reason I didn't is because I've never read it. So how would I know if I wanted the special edition and if I would like it? I've done that in the past, but I'm like, why would I spend the extra money in case I don't like it? Like I got the special edition of Copper Coins and I could have done without that. Um, so also, the other reason I didn't get the special edition is because I saw that it came with a poster. So anytime I see Seven Seas has a special edition with a poster in it, I'm not purchasing it because I don't like the posters, because you see the creases in them. Unless there's a way to like get them out, to me, it's just like I don't like. I have some now, and I'm like, I can see the creases. Totally sucks. But if I end up loving this, I don't know. I just might get the special edition and then give away the book itself because I don't need it. But yeah, so that is the front. Here is another picture for anyone who doesn't have it. And based on what I've read thus far, without saying why, I understand that this is Lu Wan Chung. This is our wheelchair baby. That's what I'm gonna call. Isn't he cute, by the way? Like, look at him. He looks so joyful and carefree. He looks like a salted fish. All the way through and through. You said you're assuming it's poison. I mean, I was totally for that. I think it's probably poison. You need to buy the special edition. He said probably good. There were spoilers. You're saving up. Save that money, honey. Your store only had the special edition. Ah, okay. Yes. The poster is lovely. I absolutely agree. The creases drive me wacky. Yeah. That's why I have. Oh, so I've never seen you here before. Hi. Welcome, JR BTW Junior, by the way, or does JR stand for something else? Yeah, they annoy me so freaking much. I wish they gave us posters in some other kind of way. Like even if they were rolled up and then like put on the side, in the packaging. Who knows? Wheelchair baby. Yes, he is such a cutie. So yes, the only special edition you liked was Modal Zusher. I liked Yuwu special edition and Thousand Autumn special edition. Well, one of the pictures I didn't really care for, but yeah. And then I have the MDZS special edition, but I actually don't care for that. Though I've realized I don't care for MDZS, which is crazy because I was crazy about it when I first read it. But now that I've read so much other Danmei, it kind of pales in comparison for me. So anyway, today we are covering chapters 1 through 5. I'm going to go ahead and put down this beautiful disclaimer for you all, and that is, please, no spoilers. No, 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 no spoilers. I know that there are some people who binged this all the way, but let's not talk about things that were not in chapters 1 through 5. Or I'm going to thump you. Did you see? Wait, there we go. I'm going to thump you if you do. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Hey, Tiglis, how's it going? Good to see you in here too. You actually came at the perfect time. We're about to start right now. And we're on chapter 1, which these chapters don't have names. They're just chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. So anyway, let's start. We have a wedding night, a beautiful man, and one is an invalid. That is exactly what my note says. And I think that pretty much sums up the very opening of the page. So we have on here that it is mentioning, it opens with the maids and they're whispering to each other about everything. And they're like, oh my gosh, I've never seen such a beautiful maid. And it was like, oh my gosh, it's so sad though. He has to marry an invalid. And then someone else says, what is there to pity? He's the young lord of the Marquess's manor now. If it weren't for the man's batza, which could bring fortune to their heir, would the Marquess and Marchioness be interested? Blah, 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 blah. So, right here, off the bat, I notice seven C's. This was the perfect opportunity for you to give us a lovely little footnote. Because what the hell is batza? If you don't know, never you fear. I found it for you. So a bazi is the ancient Chinese system that looks at a person's birth, their year, their month, the day, the hour to determine the person's personality, their potential in life, what their path of life is going to be. So you said Marquise is Marquis or Mark. So when I Googled it really quickly before I go back to my note, because we have a Marquise, which is what you spelled the first one, but this one apparently is Marquess. I thought it was Marquess, but when I looked it up, it said Marquess. So I was like, okay, well, we're going with Marquess. That's what we're gonna go with. But yeah, Marquis is Marquis. This one in particular, Marquess. It's also potential that depends on if you're in America or in Britain, maybe. Because, sometimes we have that like leapt, which I prefer to say leapt. But anyway, so yes, this batza is basically an ancient system they use to determine if a person is good enough to marry another person. What's their fortune in life? And the thing I did realize was that they have this in the back of the book, in the glossary and everything. But most people are just reading right away and they're not going to go to the glossary. And who would have assumed that Batsa would be in the glossary? That was a perfect footnote moment. So that's what it is. And the other thing that I want to say, it's not here. So I also had to look that up, which I'm kind of sad about because usually they have the Chinese title, but Thrice Married to a Salted Fish, San Jia Cheng Yu. San is three. Jia is a part of, married to marry. And Cheng Yu, Cheng is to become, Yu is fish. And to become a fish is how they say salted fish, lazy person. I meant to start with that. That's the title in Mandarin, if anyone wanted to know. So anyway, let's see. That makes sense. Oh, you're welcome. Depends on dialect. Okay, that's what I thought. The word itself is French. Bleh. Well, the English language is mixed up with French and so many other things. Okay, so let's keep going. Where was I? I'm gonna go back to my notes. So, yes, that's what that is. And basically, this son of theirs, Lu Wancheng, he is the son of the not the invalid. I'm sorry, I put invalid, but it was supposed to be because that's how they keep putting it in here as invalid. So that's how I wrote it. But Lin Qingyu is the son of the head imperial physician in the Department of the Imperial Physicians. Such a long title. But anyway, he is the one whose batsa got checked. And that's why the maids are saying if it weren't for the fact that he was so fortunate, like this family, the non-An family, would not be interested in him at all. So, for anyone who needs the pronunciation of, I'm typing it in 1 second, of Lin Qing Yu. Not doing the tones, but lean, like lean to the right, lean to the left, and then Qing Yu. So you could say Ching, if you will. It's kind of like CH, but you're going to put the tip of your tongue behind the bottom teeth. So instead of ch, which is more forward, it's kind of a little more stunted, a little more widespread. So ch, 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 ching yu. So you, not you, not ching you, but you can go yi. So make the E sound and then just pull your lips into the O, but keep saying E. And there you go. Lin Qing Yu. Hope that was helpful. So now, where was I? Okay, yeah. So he enters the chamber, Lin Qing Yu, to see his new hubby, Lu Wan Chung. Get these out of the way at the very beginning. I think Lu is pretty easy. Lu Wan Chung. Also very easy. Okay, we're good there. So he goes into the bedroom to, see his, I'm going to say beloved, but it's not really his beloved new husband. And Lu Wan Chung is the one who is, not able to move around that much. He's the one that is ill, the one that is sick. And we learned that Lin Qingyu is the first ever male wife in the empire of Great Yu to be legitimately married. There are a lot of people, because homosexuality in this era, in this empire, was actually very, very common. However, there was no male that would be the main wife. Because, of course, morals and priorities. The main wife needs to be able to bear children, and men can't do that. So it's like, no, like that's just logic speaking right there is how the empire works and how it usually works in these scenarios. But he is the first ever male wife to be approved of. He was originally studying for the Imperial Academy of Medicine. He wanted to get into the entrance exam to either become a medical official or open up an apothecary. Like he didn't care necessarily about being super, super close to the emperor, but he just wanted to be a medical official or open up his own little medicine shop, which I think is absolutely amazing. The more people that are doctors, the better, if they really care about it. He wanted to be Mao Mao. Yes, he is Mao Mao. Exactly. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. He's Mao Mao. But even more beautiful, apparently. Very, very beautiful man. And so he wanted to do this, but the Empress. Listen, y'all, whether it's Empress or Empress Dowager or Emperor, those are my three least favorite titles to hear. Because they always messing something up. Always messing something up. He said, listen, y'all. Yes, listen, y'all. For real. My least favorite titles to hear are those. Because why did the Empress Dowager, I mean, not the Empress Dowager, why did the Empress, the Emperor's wife, have to go? She heard about Lu Wancheng's sickness and stuff, of course. She heard about Lin Tingyu's specific Batsa information. And she was like, Emperor, can you please get the Lin family to get a member in their household to marry? This one right here. We need them to help him feel better because it's in the lucky stars for him to help improve this guy's health. Okay, sure. What does the Emperor do? He says yes. Because the emperor sucks as well. So we have Lu Wancheng, who's been bedridden for years, you guys. Bedridden for years. But anyway, I have this little note here. It says that he was born sickly, okay? And it was stated that he didn't have long to live. The physician said that he wasn't going to live past 20, which honestly, as a parent, I have to say, would be the most devastating thing to hear. There's this expression, I don't know if it's said in other parts of the universe of the world, but definitely in America, we say, like no parent should ever have to bury their child. So just like hearing this, I was like, oh my gosh, won't live past 20? That sucks. But darn, you're right. Because it's Don May, we have to have a sickly guy. That's just how it works. So it sucks, but it fits the dynamic of Don May. You said you adore Mao Mao. Yes, it happens with all women all the time. Yeah, get married forcibly. Yeah. Yes. You said when you hear those titles, you think drama incoming, right? Like, oh Lord, what issues are we getting into today? Mm. Lin Ting Yu reminds you of a character I don't know. Okay, Zhao Yulan. You said it makes one somewhat understand why they force the issue. Someone has to have the sickness. Oh my gosh, you saying the sickness reminds me of an episode of American Dad when Stan Smith was talking about his penis. Hey, and he was like, the thickness. I don't know why, but my brain just thought the sickness. Okay, that's enough of that. Welcome, Suki. Don't worry, we haven't gotten far. We are still on chapter one because we kind of chatted for like the first 15 minutes or so. So we're all okay. You have a name for my cup, but I have to wait until a character shows up. Okay, then we shall wait. So anyway, we have the physician that's saying that Lu Wancheng, he won't live past 20, and he's already 19. Okay, sure, fine. And his health is worsening. That's the worst part, right? And so his parents, we get a little more background, asked the imperial preceptor in a letter of desperation for his help. And he sent a letter back, basically just like giving a specific date of birth. That's it. That's all it was. And of course, it was the Chun hour on the 11th day of the third month of the Gui Wei year. For anyone who did not have the official copy and maybe it didn't have the footnote, the Chun hour is the fifth of 12 hours in traditional timekeeping. And then the Gui Wei year is year 20 of a 6 decade cycle once used to track time. Still not 100% sure on all of that, but there you go. So anyway, he sent that over, and guess whose information that is? Lin Qingyu. Poor baby. And so he accepted the marriage reluctantly. The first time he actually refused. He's like, no, thank you. I have plans in life, baby. But of course, after the imperial edict was given, how could he say no? Because if he said no, then he would risk having his entire family killed. So his train of thought was marriage over death. He's going to, because he had to think about his parents and his Didi, his little brother, right? So that's where we have it. And here on page 11, it says, over a decade of intense studying had become nothing more than a joke. And I put in my notes, sounds just like Muhan Jung. If you can see. I was like, oh, that was like the first moment that I was like, oh, sounds so familiar. So anyway, let's move forward. Okay, let me look at my notes again. So Lin Qingyu, he's not gay. Let's put that out there. He says he's not gay. So right now, he's not. Okay. And he's also humiliated by this entire thing because with the marriage, he was basically given teaching etiquette on the way of the male wife. But that's not even the most humiliating part. Like the marriage, being the main wife is already embarrassing enough. What's more embarrassing? On page 12, it says that before the wedding, I'm not gay. It said they washed his whole body inside and out, and even smeared something like grease on him. Inside. They washed his inside. Look at me. His inside. I'm laughing because it's so awful and it's so awkward. It's not funny at all. But like I was like, that is humiliating and probably painful. Like yes, it's embarrassing. So freaking embarrassing. Like I would feel, yes, so violated. Talk about etiquette. Where was the etiquette in that? Like, why didn't we allow for him to do that himself? But like, why are we doing this at all? Period. It's pretty clear that Luan Chung is not going to do anything with him. He's too sick. What is he finna do? So that was a complete waste of time, if you ask me. And it was especially and unnecessarily cruel because there is no way anyone could have possibly believed that they were going to have sex that night. Is it just me that feels that way? That they did that intentionally as a form of humiliation? Because I feel that way. Yeah, you usually do it yourself. Exactly. Exactly. He's probably not the first man to be forced into a household. Oh, most definitely not. It's actually a common practice with gay men. I'm sorry, what's a common practice with gay men? What specifically is a common practice? Because if it's being washed inside and out by someone else, then we need to protest or something. Because that's not cool. If you're saying like this is in real life, anyway, please clarify your statement before I like spiral. Please. Okay. Anyway, fan translation line says Lin Qingyu was not a good gay man. Interesting. It doesn't say it like that in this translation. Huh. Saying someone's not gay versus not a good gay man is completely different. Huh. The internal cleaning. Oh, okay. Well, yes, so that makes sense. Okay. I thought on their own. Thank you. Thank you. Because I was highly concerned. I do know that that is something that has to be done because, I mean, that's where poop comes out. So, like, you know, gotta clean it out beforehand, unless you want. Let's not get into that. So, anyway, completely humiliated, right? And then they put the lube on him. He said, I mean, the book said it was something like grease. Lube. We're going to say it was lube. So, anyway, we have one look when he gets in there, and he could see that Lu Wan Chung was incurable. So, again, I say, was it necessary to do all of that? He could just look at the man and see that he's a goner, which is pretty sucky. But anyway, he's got about 6 months left to live, right? And wait, where did I go? So eventually, Wan Chung, he wakes up, he's confused. Poor little baby. And I have a note on page 14, so let me go to it. These pages are so new and crisp, it's hard to get my turning right. Oh, okay. So he wakes up, and this is my first moment of confusion and suspicion, which we'll get to eventually. But he wakes up, he's confused, and he's like, "My name is Lin Ting Yu." And so he's like, "Lin Ting Yu," repeats it, and then he says, "The beautiful imperial physician who died in the Eastern Palace?" I was like, "Sir, no. He's very much alive. But who are you talking about?" Is what I would like to know. Who are you talking about? And I'm like, was there someone with the same name or someone from like, who are we talking about? Why would you think that? Did you have a weird dream? So he says that, and I'm like, huh? So then we eventually get to the point. You said, quickly put it in my notes. It's like sus. So sus. It's better than to send him to the wife comes first wedding night. Absolutely. So then we get something. Where did I go? Okay, so they eventually call in the renowned physician Zhang. He's summoned and he checks his, his pulse or whatever. And he's basically like, whoa, this is a 180-degree turn. He suddenly got so much vitality. It must be you. Everyone's like, it must be you, Lin Ting Yu. Okay, sure. Let's be that superstitious. And so then we move forward and we get to page 17. Also another form of humiliation, like so much humiliation here. I just cannot. But before we get to right, just from his pulse, it's like, oh, suddenly what he's like saved? What do you mean? So at the top of page 17, I have to point this out because this is vital information. Okay. Lin Qingyu has a teardrop mole at the corner of his eye that apparently looks even more charming in the light. Just had to put that out there. That is important for us to know that he has a teardrop mole at the corner of his eye. Okay. Love that. Then now I've got to look at the picture and it's there. Hold on. Let me. Okay. Do y'all see it? Can you see it? Because I see it right there. Eee! So cute. But yes, this is very important. You said that sounds familiar. The mole. Yeah. So we get a little further on this page, right now to the point that I want to rant about just for like a tiny second. Yeah, Guyuan has a mole. Um, it's somewhere else, but Xuan Min in Copper Coins has a mole. It's on his neck. Um, I'm trying to think, is there anyone else who has a mole? Is there anyone in Araha who has one? Who knows? So anyway, here's the thing. We have where Lu Wancheng is talking to Lin Qingyu. They're alone. And he's like, yo, like if I woke up a few days earlier, I would not have agreed to this marriage. Like, I don't want you to be a widow. And I was like, oh, yes, mistakenly saving the village. I knew I was forgetting. I was like, somebody else has a mole. Yeah, that's the one I thought about. And Wanning has one behind his ear. Yep, there we go. So moles are essential in Danmei as well. Why didn't we think about this before? So, of course, Lin Qingyu is like, there's no point in mentioning it now. Like, it's already done. So we just have to move forward with what we have. And then we have this part where, Lu Wancheng is like, well, we knelt together and everything. And Lin Qingyu lets him know we didn't prostrate ourselves together before heaven and earth. What does he say? He knelt alongside a rooster. Now, maybe that is a rooster. And of course, Lu Wancheng scoffed and he was like, they had you do that? Like, are you serious? And he was like, all right, okay, let's just move past that. But I was pissed. I was like, should he be kneeling beside a rooster? That sounds awful. But again, I don't know about the cultural details on that. I didn't look it up, which I probably should have. But so maybe it's okay. But right now, I'm just gonna see it as not okay. Until I get verification. Let's see. The position of the mole has a meaning in Chinese medicine. Oh, looking at you guys' comments. Rooster is a common stand-in. Okay. Good to know then. Because I was like, what? That's still sucky though. I don't want to kneel with the rooster. So anyway, we can move past that. Thank you guys for the education because I was just like, okay, sure. So then anyway, we get onto the final page and Lu Wancheng lets Lin Qingyu. I'm gonna just say Wancheng and Qingyu. Exactly. No subtext. Which again, I really would have appreciated a footnote. That could have been footnote number 2, because just as an American, a Black American reader who has learned about, Chinese culture, but I'm not Chinese, although I am Chinese, but I'm not Chinese, and I don't know these things. That would have been a nice footnote to have for me, just because me reading that, I'm like, that's humiliating. He had to kneel next to a rooster, but in context to the culture, that's a common stand-in. That would have been very nice to know. I don't know what's happening. Like, I would have appreciated that. Seven Seas, can we like, you know, get it together? Okay. So then, Wan Chung tells Tingyu that he wants him to basically disregard the marriage. He's like, you don't have to put too much into it, okay, my guy? Like, I'm gonna die soon, and when I die, you can take my inheritance. And I just want to be a salted fish. So again, I already taught you guys how to say that. Chung Yu. He's like, that's all I want. Okay. He said old translation cultural notes. I would appreciate those. Chickens are auspicious marriage animals. Actually, I do remember that now that you mention it in MDZS. But even with that being the case, though, my brain still wouldn't think that it's okay to like prostrate yourself with one. That is, oh gosh. You said you're a salted fish too. Me as well. So let me just make sure really quickly there wasn't anything else that was mentioned in the first. Okay, got it. So we're all good there. Now we can move on to chapter 2. I had to make sure there wasn't anything in the glossary that I could share with you guys. Before we move on. So in chapter 2, we have Qingyu, who does not like being called beauty, which is the only thing that Wan Chung has been calling him since he woke up. He's just like, beauty, beauty. Oh my gosh, beautiful, beautiful. I mean, and he's like, why, what are you calling me? And we learn that he doesn't like that because of a bunch of perverts. Because a bunch of perverts called him beautiful, beauty, and they was trying to get some. They were being disgusting. And so then we also get to the next portion. Just like we get more and more humiliation, just like as we keep going, that he had to protest the makeup. Okay. And he's already a beautiful person anyway, but he's like, I don't want to wear all of this makeup. And so he protested it, and he had minimal. I think he only had the headdress, the robes, of course, and a huadian. So, next footnote, this footnote number 3. Footnote number 3 that we are missing. um, you said, I have a name, kind of feeling. You open minded. What are y'all? Did I miss? Take everything you can swindle. So, huadian, just so you all know, is the ornamental makeup that typically takes the form of a small flower between the eyebrows. You know, that cute little decoration that be there in the sea dramas in ancient China that we've seen. Again, that is something that is in the glossary, but it would have been more beneficial if it were on the actual like page that it was mentioned. Yes. So it wasn't a belated learning thing for people. Cause I don't know about you guys, but I don't care to read the glossary, well, at all, really, unless I need to. But I don't care to read the glossary before I read the book, because the glossary can sometimes be a spoiler as well, you know? So again, should have been in the book. The flower is on him on the cover, right? Yes, it is. One more time for you guys to look so you can see. Right in there. So, anyway, so he protested makeup. So he got very little bit done. Okay. But he definitely still had the Huadian. And then we have him also refusing to sleep in the bed. Right. Wan Chung was like, well, he is pretty. He was like, you can just get in the bed with me. Like, it's okay. We're two guys. We can sleep together. We're not gay. And he refused to sleep in the bed. So instead, he decided to go sleep on the divan, which It's basically one of those long chairs that is kind of wider, if you will. It's more sleepable than a regular chair. Do I need to pull up a picture for you guys? Because if I need to, I will. But yeah, just one of those long, luxurious chairs that you normally see. Um, you said, but the cover isn't of the wedding. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like they're wearing red clothing. He's got the Huadian on him, but they're just like outside. So maybe thematically that's possibly a little off. I don't know. So I'm just not going to really speak on it that much. No idea. The art is beautiful though. That's all I could say. um and so, of course, he refused, and Wan Chung just dropped it. He was like, okay. And then Tingyu also took one of the extra blankets. So the next morning, we have the maids that come in to help them get dressed and everything, but Wan Chung is still asleep. Of course, his personal servant, Feng Tin, sees that he did not sleep in the bed, and she makes a face about it, basically. Is it like a half bench? Yeah, except, well, I feel like a half bench. No, I feel like a bench would be a half divan because a bench is literally just the part that you sit on. Okay, let's do it just really quickly. Trying to type with one hand, share my screen, talk about the divan. Here we are. There we go. And I'll even, can I zoom in? Da 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 da. So this one's got a little cushion on it. This one doesn't. Whew. And that one doesn't. Those are probably awful without the cushion. Okay, there we go. So now that we have that, oopsie, where did I go? Here we go. So yeah, so the servant didn't like that he slept on the divan, but that's none of her business. Like, she can get out, okay? So Wan Chung wasn't waking up. Okay. And Tingyu says that forcing him awake would actually worsen his health. So leave him alone. Which, of course, the maid was like, I'm concerned. Should he be sleeping this much? And no, he's sleeping a lot. But like, if you wake him up, it's going to be worse. So leave it alone, basically. You're welcome. And then we get a little bit of history. So we have that it was Lady Liang of the house of Wan Chung's, family. She is the one who sent the proposal to the Lin family. And like I said, Tingyu refused. Then she asked the empress for help because God forbid we live in a world where people accept no for an answer. Because, like, God forbid we live in a world where people have the right to say, no, I don't think I want to be with this person. Okay, so she asked the empress for help. No, never heard of her. Who is No? Like, have you met No? I haven't met No. So, anyway, that's a little bit of the history that we get. And then we get back to the main story. He's not waking up, but he's supposed to. It's the day after their wedding, and they're supposed to serve tea to Lady Liang and his father together and everything. But he just has to go by himself. Tingyu has to go by himself. So, we learn that Huan Chang's family, which is the Nan family, is very important in the kingdom, in the empire, is what I meant to say. Which obviously, because if Lady Leon can just go to the empress and get help to force someone to get married, it's clear that they're very important to each other, like very important to the emperor, to the empress, all of that. And so Qingyu is just walking through and he's looking at the fact that, oh, they have such an extravagant home, and it's just like too much, so yes, we have the empress is the one who helped the marriage come to pass. And when he's serving the tea, he calls Lady Liang well, lady instead of mother. And this is something that makes one of the servants, Auntie Liu, kind of snap at him quickly and is like, "You should be calling her mother. What are you doing?" And he's basically like, "Oh, well, I'm not used to it yet, so calm down. Eventually, maybe, but not." And Marquess, the Marquess is a little displeased by that, and he's like, "Well, don't take too long to get used to it. Hi, love. How's it going? Okay." Um Anyway, so yeah, we get to that part. I see a angry face. Oh, the servant. Boy, I was scared for a second. So anyway, yes, we have the Marquess is displeased with Qingyu, right? And telling him not to let his medical skills go to waste and care for Wan Chung. When I tell y'all I was so upset to see that, because I was like, sir, is that not a slap in the face? Because his medical skills would not have gone to waste or wouldn't be at risk of going to waste had he been able to live the life that he wanted. Had he not been forced into this marriage. Because ultimately, even if he were to take care of Wan Chung, the other stuff that he could have learned and been doing would go to waste because there are so many different aspects of the medical field, right? Other than taking care of this one type of sickness. And you guys forcing him into this marriage is already stagnating any growth. So I was just like, fuck off to the daddy. Like, I was like, go away. I don't like you. I really don't. I don't like this whole family. Except for Wonton. Okay? Just except for him. So anyway, then I have in my note the nerve of Lady Liang because she gives a gift that was intended for the grandkid. And this is a slight to Qingyu because he can't provide them with grandkids because he's a man and we're not in the Omegaverse. And so she's like, "Oh, well, this was going to be for the kid, my grandchild, but oh, forget it. I guess I'll give it to you instead." Again, fuck off. To all of y'all. Like he said, what kid? Exactly. Whose fault is it that your son will not be having a kid? Quite literally your fault. You're the one who brought him into this marriage. Like, what are we doing? And so I was just like, oh my gosh, you can't slight him verbally at this point because of his lack of egg sack abilities. Okay. That's egg sack ability. I don't know. He can't carry the eggs and have them do things and grow and mature in his womb. Like that's not a thing. So as we digress, you said adoption. Is adoption even a common thing in this time period though? Like for real? Uh I don't know. I don't know about that. So even with that being the case, but yes, sure, adoption is an option. You don't have to say that to him. Just move on, lady. So anyway, I have to find myself. Did I just read that note? I did. Yes, I did. Sorry, you guys. So anyway, once he gets back to his room, he tosses that gift to his servant because he don't want it. Once he gets back to the Lanfeng pavilion, he's like, screw this gift. Then we have Lu Wancheng is still asleep. Okay. And it's at least until Qingyu is about to check his pulse. And he's like, what are you doing so sneakily, huh? He's like, just checking your pulse. What do you think is going to kill you? So then we have here where I thought personally maybe he was just faking sleep when he woke up like that. He's like, what are you doing? I think he was faking. I don't know about anyone else, but he was definitely faking. He said blood was more important. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like usually in cases of adoption, from what I've read, it's like the person, I don't know, was close to the family, decided they would take care of this person, for from now on. But technically speaking, yeah, the bloodline is what needs to be preserved. What's more important? So adoption, nah. Especially when you're a noble family compared to just like regular everyday families, which even then, bloodline is still more important. So immediately, someone I will be pissed to seek her name again. Yes, she pisses me off constantly. You say F off reminds me of something, and you're gonna post it in Discord once you find it. Okay, cool. Also, I didn't even check if anyone put anything in Discord while we're in this live session, but I don't think so. Let me see. Okay, I'll check in a second because I do see something there. So then eventually we move on. Like I said, I think he was faking sleep, that he wasn't really. And then he reveals also, Wan Chong reveals that he's not gay. But of course, like I said, it's popular here. So anyway, we have where, they're talking and everything, and they're in a warding off marriage. Again, another beautiful place for a footnote, but instead of in the footnote, it's in the glossary. So I think it was pretty understandable what it is. But of course, the warding off marriage was a custom that was popular in the Ming and Qing era society. Warding off marriages were initiated to counteract persistent bad luck or sickness. Either the patient himself or his immediate family married in hopes that he would regain luck in health. So that's what that is. You said they both aren't gay. Exactly. They both are not gay. Straight as a pencil. Yes. So they say. But that makes the growth of the relationship so much better. So we have that Qingyu is surprised at one point that Wan Chong asks him what his preferences are when they're talking about, their sexuality. Because well, he just wouldn't expect him to care about something like that anyway, right? And so Wan Chung also understands after he learns that Qingyu is straight, that he probably feels very wronged by being forced into this marriage. He said, for now, that he feels very wronged. And so he's like, I'm willing to compensate you, other than my inheritance. If anything that you want, as long as it's in my power, I am going to give that to you. And that's pretty much how that one ends. We do have Qing Yu just thinking about the fact that unless the source of Wan Cheng's illness is removed, then no matter what, he's only going to have about 6 months to live. Even if they're able to tackle the symptoms, like there's nothing they can do. But this sickness is incurable, right? And Wan Cheng is so unbothered by it. He's just like, I mean, well, death is coming, so let's just chill because that's just what it is. So then we move to chapter 3, which really quickly I did see something pop up in Discord. So I'm just going to look at it really, really quick. Okay, 6 months left to live. Gives us a timeline for marriage. Oh, these are notes that I'm going to have to. Oh, it's so many notes. Okay, maybe I'll look at those in my own time because it's a lot. And you wrote in such nice cursive adjacent is what I like to call it when it's like part cursive. No, it's basically cursive. Yes. Okay. Never mind. I will take a look at that when I thought it was going to be like just a little bit of notes to read onto the live, but it's actually a lot. So I'll come back to it. So, like I said, let's move to chapter 3. And I'll make sure I also have my bada boom, bada boom. So we have where Qingyu, he only brought 2 chests with him. When you get married into a family, you can bring your dowry or whatever, however much it was going to be, you were feeling lazy. And he only brought 2. And in one of them, it had clothes. And in the other one, medical books, which sounds about right. And so he also could only bring 2 maids to which he did not do that. He did have a servant boy that he grew up with in his home, but he decided to leave him there, you know. So there are, let's see, page 29. I have a note. I'm going to go to my note. So here it is. We have a highlight here where it says, hold on. Oh, it says among the books in his chest, many of them were ancient books that he hadn't read yet. He wondered whether they contained any cases similar to Wan Chung's. My footnote here just says, doctor's instinct just might lead you to care. Okay, be careful, Qingyu. His doctor's instincts are telling him, maybe I can look up Wan Chung's sickness. But you do that, then you're going to start caring. So I just wanted to put that out there that, like, hey, you might start caring, Qingyu. I know you can't hear me warn you, but you might start to care. Anyway, then it mentions that he has an eidetic memory. If anyone does not know what eidetic means, basically, you can recall images, sounds, and objects in great detail and with profound accuracy. So I think some people may say just like photographic memory instead of eidetic. You said, as mad as he is, he's still a doctor. Yeah, that's why I said doctor's instincts. He's like, here's a case. And it's the only case I can get close to, apparently. So let's figure it out, right? I do wish I had that kind of memory too. That would be super cool. So, anyway, he can remember all those things with great accuracy. Then we get to the next page. And of course, it says again, his father thought about having him take the imperial civil exams. But again, he already had his own ambitions. He wants to see patients improve under his care. And I thought this was so important to read out and discuss, or just mention, not necessarily discuss, because sometimes people go into the profession of being a doctor or a lawyer and all kinds of big positions like those because of the money, right? They have the capacity to learn these things, but they don't have the heart. They just want the money. And so to know that he really cares about watching the gradual improvement of people that are under his care, I just thought was so amazing, right? Yes, or because of parents, especially, especially in this culture, right? Your parents are like, nope, doctor, okay, lawyer, boom. So he's just like, I just want to see people heal, you know? And he wants to find treatments for complicated diseases, which again, my guy, you've got a complicated disease right in front of you. So let's go. But yes, I just thought that was very, very nice to just get that little piece about him. Because so far we've just seen him as this very like cold individual because he's surrounded by people who he doesn't want to be around. So he's being cold to them. We haven't really gotten any warmth from Qingyu yet, but we can already get like a little funniness and stuff from Wan Chong, which I have to say, I absolutely love Wan Chong's character. He is so funny and so nice, like polite, kind, if you will. But he's just really funny. So I like him for that. So then when we move on, we have that Lady Liang tries to control Qingyu's movements. A lot of his movements as we go on. But in this one, she says that he must be with Wan Chung as much as possible to act as a good luck charm. And this was all because like he didn't want to eat with him. He just wanted to read his books. He wanted to study. But, he was told by Auntie Liu, you need to go eat with him. And he's like, I don't want to. Okay. And I just think that's something that's just, again, I'm trying not to vent too far ahead. So excuse me while I like filter my brain really quickly. Okay, so as we continue reading, we will see more of this. But there are so many times in which Lady Liang is trying to control what he's doing. And I love how he's just like, no, I don't want to do that. Or he finds a respectful way or a clever way to deny. He's like, no, I don't want to. And then we get to the point. What did I say? Um, yeah, he says no. So then, of course, Auntie Liu, a servant, is feeling salty because she felt disrespected by him. And she is respected by everyone, even the Marquess and the Marchioness. God, those names. Even they show some kind of respect to her. And so she's pissed off and she's like, I'm going to go tell. So she goes away or whatever. And he's also thinking about, this ginseng chicken soup that was supposed to be made for Wan Chung to eat. But this is not good soup for him. Qing Yu doesn't say this out loud. He's thinking about this in his head. He's like, this is not good for him. So then we have it here, footnote number 4. It's saying that in traditional Chinese medicine, the effects of nourishing ingredients include stimulating qi. Such ingredients are considered an appropriate treatment for every patient. So essentially, this would just be way too much on his body. Even though it seems like a good ingredient, it's something healthy for you, it's something that his body cannot withstand at the moment. And he's like, doesn't Lady Liang know that? Was she trying to make his situation worse? And of course, I was like, is she? She probably is. Like, I was just like, probably. You said my books are more appetizing. She's drinking her hater juice for sure. When servants decide they should reach above his station and stick their noses in. Yeah, basically. It's like, just because you haven't been disrespected doesn't mean that you can't be. Just because everyone shows a certain kind of reverence for you doesn't mean that he has to listen to you. So, like, remember your place, woman. So anyway, yeah, but he's like, doesn't she know that he shouldn't be, ingesting this? Is she trying to make his sickness more severe? So now I'm side eyeing her very bombastically, right? Then we have it where, oh, I have my little note here that says it's just really funny to see him have all these medically professional thoughts about Wan Chung. Yes, because because those medically professional thoughts, again, where are they leading to? Anyway, so as we move forward, he eventually decides he's going to go tell Wan Chung to not eat the ginseng chicken soup, only to see when he gets there that he isn't. He's not eating it. In fact, he's like, I won't eat anything she sends over. If they want to get rid of me earlier, I'll be sure to give them grief. Yeah, she's just stirring the pot. Literally stirring the ginseng chicken soup. So I was like, oh, Wan Chung, what's really going on in this household? All the sus. So I'm like, I want to know what's going on. And then on page 34, I'm getting there. uh we have him, well, before we get to page 34, we have him laughing about something, and that laughing sends him into a fit of coughing. And Chingu is like, what are you laughing at? Like, there's nothing to laugh about right now. And he's like, I'm very lively, what are you talking about? And a tiny bit witty, which, again, I love his character so much. So he gets to the point where he was like, yeah, you're right, this body makes me want to puke. If it were my own. Wan Chung, what do you mean if it were your own? If it were your own body? So I don't know if anybody else was immediately like, is he a transmigrator? And we're not really getting the story from his POV, but from Ting Yu's. Like, is he? What's going on here? Was anybody else like, huh? You said ginseng is eaten to nourish some other parts of men too. Look. So I was just like, okay, is this a transmigration? Because typically speaking, like all transmigrations I've read have been very clear that the person has transmigrated, right? So I'm like, oh, but it's usually also in that person's POV. Boy, would it be interesting if he's a transmigrator and but it's not from his POV. But then the other thing for me, it was like, well, it's called Thrice Married to a Salted Fish. So with that in mind, I was also thinking, okay, what if he's not a transmigrator, but like he's lived this life before? Or like, has he reincarnated? Has everybody reincarnated and he like remembers the reincarnations or something? Or I don't know. The point is, I'm suspicious. So you said he's a transmigrator. I'm calling it. Okay, Neko, I'm there with you. Transmigrator. You caught on to that as soon as he woke up the first time. Yes. I'm trying to remember what it was he said the first time because I've been thinking about it the entire time. But okay, no, so from there, I had some suspicions because I highlighted it, but from there, I was thinking maybe he was just from possibly a different life, or yes, possibly he read a book and he was like, "Oh, this happened." And I was like, "Ah!" So I don't know. I'm just like, "Sir, what's going on here?" So we shall see as we continue reading. I've gotten to chapter 10 and still haven't figured anything out in that realm. Well, I'm starting chapter 10 today. And so I don't know. But anyway, we go on and okay, there we go. Making sure I'm on the right page. So we have on page, almost page 35, where Wan Chang has a gift for Qing Yu, and it's an acupuncture bag. At first, Tingyu didn't even want this gift, but then he saw it and he immediately grabbed for it because, medical instincts for research, of course. So Tingyu seems bothered by the gift though, because he's automatically thinking his own personal thoughts like, let me guess, you want me to use this on you or something like that. Is this the only reason that you have gotten it for me? You said this also means OG died on the wedding night. Oh my gosh, what if that was the case? So anyway, um, we get a little further on the page, and he says here, why make a fuss when it's a waste of your breath? You can fuss till you die, but no one will praise your death. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, um, is this a real saying? Because it says, as the saying goes, right? And so I was like, ooh, was this another missed opportunity for a footnote? Well, yes and no, I suppose. So the closest thing to this phrase, I have two things for you guys, is going to be 小题大做, which is to have a 小, small, t, problem, 大, big, 做, like making a big deal out of something little. So 小题大做. But I had to ask one of my little buddies, one of my Chinese buddies, about more because I was like, you guys, it does this correlate to any exact expression? And I got something for you once I find it. So the exact Chinese wording, which I'm going to, yes, making a mountain out of a molehill, but no, I was looking specifically for what this, because making a mountain out of a molehill is different from saying, why make a fuss when it's a waste of your breath? You can fuss till you die, but no one will praise you in your death. Like to me, that sounds like something even more it's different. Like it's in the same category but different. So I was like, okay, is this an actual expression? So what we have in the Chinese edition, it's 争所谓为了小事发脾气，回想起来又何必? Then the next part we have 你若气死谁如意，况且伤身又费力. Basically saying, if you lose your temper over small things, why bother in retrospect? If you are so angry that no one gets what they want, it'll all be nerve-wracking and laborious. basically. And apparently, this was taken from a Chinese poem wall scroll. So there's that. The translation of the original text is kind of different, kind of weird thin. Because, yeah, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, it doesn't really mention anything about death at all. So how do we get you can fuss till you die, but no one will praise your death? Which I think is a really cool expression, by the way. But to know that it wasn't really like a Chinese saying was kind of sad. Yeah, I was kind of saddened by that. I was like, okay, we'll make it into one because it's really cool. So there's that. Please forgive my stilted Chinese, my stilted Mandarin. But anyway, after we move on from there, we have, I have to go back to that page. Where basically I have come to the realization that Wan Chung is not stupid. And I'll just leave it at that for now. We'll definitely see it as we keep reading. So then Lady Liang, because Auntie Liu went to report to her that Qingyu is not going to eat with him. He defied the orders, blah, blah, blah. Lady Liang is coming, right? And she even asks Feng Qin, I believe, hey, is Qingyu in there? And she's like, no, he's not. And then she goes in there, but he is. And he's even feeding him. And being all, hospitable and newlywed in front of her. And she's like, thought you said he wasn't in here, basically. I thought you said he wasn't in here. So she's super stunned. And they kind of mess with her a bit, which is super funny, as far as about the soup. And it's like, oh, he shouldn't be eating this. Didn't you know that already? Or maybe the kitchen forgot, who knows? Because of course you wouldn't feed this kind of stuff to him. And of course she's like, and then Auntie Leo has to step in and basically be like, it was my fault. It was me. I'm the one that did it. He said, a model to live by. I agree. I agree. And so then it's like, okay, well, hold on. Yeah, it's my fault. I should be punished. So of course, Lady Liang is like, well, Qingyu, how do you want to punish her? And so then he's basically like, well, according to the rules, this is how she's supposed to be punished. So let's just do it that way. And, but it's up to you if that's what you want to do, Lady Liang. And she's like, fine, we shall do it as you have said. Because y'all put yourself in that predicament. But anyway, um, after they leave and get over all of this awkwardness, Wan Chung is basically like, how did Auntie Liu offend you? Because I can see that, you don't like her. And he's like, well, she tried to force me to change the way I address someone twice. I don't like her. And he's like, well, you sure know how to hold a grudge. And it's like, yeah, yes, he does. I'm scared for anyone who ever pisses him off, which again, when it comes to someone being in the medical field, why would we be pissing them off in the first place? I'm not gonna piss off anyone who could poison me expertly. Someone who could poison me and get away with it, that it could possibly not be proven that I've been poisoned. I'm not gonna mess with that. Like, come on. So anyway, he eventually goes on, to say that he has an eidetic memory or whatever. And then Wan Chong says, damn, what a flex. And Tingyu's like, what the heck is flex? What does flex mean? And so he has to teach him that, like, it means you're really great. I was like, that's so funny that he doesn't even know what flex means. So now we can move on to chapter 4. And basically, I say the opening is hilarious. Why do I say it's hilarious? Because Wan Chung truly feels better with with Qingyu around, and he wants him to sleep in the room with him. And he also believes in reincarnation. So now I believe in reincarnation, and I'm believing it's possible that he was reincarnated or transmigrated or transmigrated reincarnation, reincarnated through transmigration. I don't I don't know. So anyway, um, yes, I just love this page because here it says, he's like, why did you ask me to come into the room? Why did you have me come back to sleep in here? Because he was going to sleep in his study. So then Wan Chong says, you misunderstood. I didn't ask you to come back to sleep with you. And so Qingyu is like, you're the young master of a noble household. Have some decorum, basically. And so then he's like, I didn't ask you to come back to sleep with you. He said it decorously. And I was just like, I need this guy to be my friend. I need him to be my friend immediately. You said he's using modern lingo. Yes, which is why I was like, I keep side eyeing him, but not for the same reasons I side eye other characters like Lady Leon. Because I'm like, sir, did Flex even exist back then? Flex. Okay. So yeah, don't mess with someone who poisons, or at least to be able to save you. Yes. 100% convinced he's a transmigrator. It's like you can't tell me otherwise now. He's definitely a transmigrator. So then as we keep going, he's talking about, how he feels good or better with Qingyu sleeping in the room. He believes in reincarnation and all of that stuff. And then we get to the bottom where, he's like, I need to go visit the imperial preceptor who knows everything about heaven and earth and the gods and everything. And Qingyu is like, first, you need to learn how to get out of bed. I was like, Qingyu, that was mean. That was unnecessary, wholly unnecessary. um, Here's a Mari-chan. That would be a lot of tags. The amount of me loving them both is normal. I was like, sir, let's not be like this. He's so snappy. So anyway, Wan Chung is basically like, he had the divan cushioned for him. So he wasn't asking him to even sleep in the bed. He was like, I got that whole thing cushioned for you. You're all good to go. And then we also learn that Qingyu is 18 years old, by the way. So then we move on, and apparently I have a highlight and note on page 44, and Qingyu thinks, is he actually stupid or merely pretending to be? And I highlighted this because y'all know what I think. That he's full on pretending to be stupid. He might be a little loopy sometimes, coming from sleep to wake to sleep to wake, but I definitely think he's very smart. Also, really random, but a comment that one of you guys made, for some reason, in me addressing this quote, this thought, just made me realize I entirely missed what you said and didn't get it until now. Someone said that that means he would have died on their wedding night. So I read that and kind of just, I don't know, it kind of just went in one ear and out the other. But you were saying, I don't remember who said it, that he died in whatever his original life was. And in that moment, he woke up and was transmigrated into the wedding night. Is that what you were saying? If you're still here, I don't know. Anyway, that was really random. The point is that just occurred to me at this exact moment from saying maybe he's a little loopy when he wakes up and goes to sleep. Anyway, so he's giving Shanzituan. Yes, absolutely. He's definitely giving Shanzituan. Thank you for saying that. I needed that. I needed that very much, and I don't even know why. So we have it said that the empire puts great importance on medical expertise, which to me, I'm kind of like, how though? How are we putting great importance on medical expertise, but someone who comes from one of the greatest I was gonna say metagicians. It's a new word going into my dictionary. One of the greatest metagicians, medical doctors, medical imperial physicians, you have forced his son, who was learning right up under him, to get married and not be able to take the imperial exam for the medical academy. So how is it that doesn't line up? How is medical expertise treasured and of great importance, but we did this? So anyway, that's all I had to say about that. Just a couple more things. Da-da-da-da. One thing I will say though, I do appreciate is that when it comes to the medical field, that family background was not really the most important thing. All that mattered is that you were filled with potential, that you passed the entrance exam, then you get into the Imperial Academy of Medicine. Doesn't matter your teacher, your family, all of that stuff. Just are you smart enough, basically, which I do like. I like that a lot. So that was cool, but still, it's just kind of like, okay, sure. And we also know that they're very selective because only 1 in 10,000 applicants are accepted. That's pretty hefty. So it's kind of like I get it, I see it that medical expertise is very important, but at the same time it's like you literally stopped. It would be one thing if you stopped someone like a regular person, but you stop someone who's already in a family that is serving the empire. But yes, like Vico said, the empress is the empress. So, I mean, I guess that is what it is, right? So as we move forward, we have him going to sleep. Oh, no, no, no. Before we have him go to sleep, apparently I have a note here that says the Empire sure likes to harp on appearances. Why did I say that? There is a reason that, oh, I see. I said this because when we are looking at this nightmare, hold on. Yes, Lin Tingyu had a nightmare, right? And he's in his sleep and he gets the imperial edict. And this, I mean, technically, it could possibly be just dream realm, but I'm going to believe it's in the empire because the eunuch is giving the edict and he says, Lu Wancheng, son of the Marquess of Nan'an and a man of noble character and extraordinary appearance, will soon turn 20. I now address the son of Lin Rushan, the head imperial physician of the Department of Imperial Physicians, a filial man with a dignified appearance. I was like, are these appearances that important that we got to put them in the imperial edict? Like, he has an extraordinary appearance. He has a dignified appearance. He has a very comely appearance. I'm like, what are we doing? So anyway, he's having this dream, right? And he gets the edict when he's at the doors of the entrance exam. And at first, when I was reading this, I was like, oh my God, is this how it really happened? I was like, that's so sucky. Like he was about to step in and take the imperial exam. Like that would make it even worse. But instead, it says he jolted awake from his dream. So then I was like, okay, it was just a dream. You said, did you miss Wan Chung's comment on Lin Tingyu having a charming character design and not being made into a protagonist right before they sleep? I don't think that was. Oh, I have a highlight here on it, but I didn't put it. Why did I put it here? Oh, I see what I did. See, this is why I shouldn't do that. Sometimes when I have a note, more than one note on a page, I don't write it on my chapter like on this because I'm like, oh, I'll see that note and just take and give that note as well. I skipped that note. Let's rewind just a little bit, y'all. Because I have it right here. You see, Bombastic side eye. So, okay, no matter how many notes there are on the same page, I am going to just put all of them on the end thing so I can remember to say. Yes. Page 44, Lu Wan Chung says, a beauty with a terrible temper, but somehow such an interesting character isn't the protagonist. Y'all see, I highlighted it, but I just didn't mention it. Thank you, Neko Neko. Look at me. Oh my gosh. You said, wait a minute. If so, will it work if he, a different person with a different birthday, warded off the plane of existence? Boy doesn't have to deal with his family's drama now. So he knows, but who is then? That's us. Yeah, that's sus. Very sus. Sorry for not mentioning the sus. That was on me. So I need to make sure that I look at all of my notes on the page. So anyway, now we can go back moving forward. Go back moving forward. We can go back to moving forward, but still, that sounds weird. Anyway, so he wakes up from this dream. And I was like, okay, so that's not how it happened. Okay, well, how did it actually happen? And so we learned in reality, the edict went straight to the Lean residence and he was disqualified from taking the exam before he even got there, before all of that. So I was like, okay, well, that's better. I would feel astronomically worse if he was at the doors of the exam but couldn't take it. That would be so sucky. So then we have it. Eventually, Wan Chung wakes, but he's not feeling well. And so Qing Yu puts on his physician hat again. And he gets this box of medicine that contains lots of poisons that he definitely created. They are custom made poisons. So again, we not messing with him. I'm not messing with Qing Yu. I will not get on his bad side because he just got poisons on deck. Like, what are we doing? Anyway, I know that sometimes poisons are used to help cure things, but he just got poisons on deck. Also some medicines. Also some medicines, it says, just to remember that. Yes, also some medicines. So he we get to page 47. And down at the bottom, he pulls out the acupuncture bag with the needles and he says, I'm going to use needles on you too, just to be safe, after feeding the pill. And it says, seemingly recalling some trauma from his youth, Lu Wan Chung tried to get up on his arms and he says, needles. And then Lin Ting Yu says, acupuncture. And he's like, oh, be gentle then. So, what does that mean? Side eye again, which is crazy because when I first read it, I was like, okay, what past trauma did he have? That he would be afraid of needles. But as I'm discussing this with y'all again, I'm like, no, he wasn't thinking about acupuncture. That's the first thought that people in this era would have, right? He's thinking about needles in the doctor's office. He's thinking about an IV. This is where my brain is. That's definitely what he's thinking about. Because as soon as Ting Yu was like, no, acupuncture, he was like, oh, okay, cool then. That's different. So what else could he be thinking about, right? And so sus some more. Sus, 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 sus. He says so many poisons. It gives the earlier sentence that he wants to watch his patients a sinister feeling. He's like, I want to gradually watch them improve or disprove if I don't like them. Our boy and his poisons. Oh my gosh. Poisons on deck. Yes. Oh my gosh. And I can snap on this thumb again, you guys. My cut is doing better. Still a little weird sometimes, but you said you fear needles. Poor baby. I still haven't healed from the needles that were put in me from surgery. Like, the marks are now gone, but from where it was done, like this part here hurts. And I'm still having to put like a cold compress or heat onto my arm. This hurts because it's still a bit swollen. And even like typing a little bit after a while, it's just like, So I'm still in the process of trying to heal my arms because my arms after surgery were like, ah! And I was like, so anyway, you said acupuncture would be worse. I'm not gonna lie, there's a part of me that wants to be brave enough to try acupuncture. Also, this is kind of like room temperature now, but I'm scared. I'm real scared. And like part of me is scared because of the whole needle being put inside me thing. The other part of me is scared that I might move and then something gets lodged in the wrong spot and then I'm gonna die. Also, this might just be a result of me being obsessed with Final Destination as a child and an adult, because that's definitely a scene. Sorry if that spoiled anyone, but I didn't give details. Acupuncture is a scene in one of the Final Destinations, and it was pretty graphic. Loved it. But maybe in my subconscious, that's why I'm like, I don't know if I want to try acupuncture for real. So one day I'm going to be brave enough. One day. You have a severe phobia. Oh no. You oh wow. I hope the nurse was not traumatized by your trauma. You said you love this perspective. Oh, what did I say? I don't even remember. Was it my perspective? What did I say? I don't even know. I'm like, now I need to go back. What did I say? It's not as bad as it looks. The needles are really thin. You only feel it when they're putting them in. Yeah, what is it though that I'm feeling? Also, welcome. I don't think I've ever seen you here, so welcome. Am I feeling it as in pain, or am I feeling it as a little prick? Am I feeling it as just like I feel a pressure? Like, that needs to be specified for me, please. Please. Okay, I'm gonna wait for you to specify. You don't really feel them being punctured, but when they trigger the acupoint. So, what am I feeling then? Am I feeling pain? You've passed out several times. Oh man. Well, I hope in your life you and Neko Neko have as minimal experiences or minimal um, necessities of getting shots and needles and put into you. That is what I hope. So, anyway, let us keep going. You're afraid of the blood. It was like a tugging feeling, a unique feeling. Okay, interesting. Thank you for clarifying. So after we do that, then we just have, oh, I have a note that just says, I think that Yu's callous concern is hilarious. Um, because he's treating him because he doesn't feel well. But then we have here where Wan Chung is like, be gentle then. He was like, no, I'm going to use a lot of force. I was like, sir, was that necessary? And Wan Chung was like, okay, he doesn't have anything else to say. And so then we have it, where he's like, am I going to die again? Also, why didn't I highlight this? Am I going to die again? Physician lean. This is why I'm glad I'm going over this with y'all, because I ain't gonna lie, I read a lot of this really late. Shame on me. And I guess my brain was not functioning properly. But I'm glad I'm on this page. What do you mean again? When was the first time? Where were you? Who were you? What time were you the first time you died? And so, of course, he was like, if you can save me, then save me. But if you can't, don't force yourself. I only had a few days of sleeping in. And so Yu is just like, shut up. I won't let you die. Not tonight. And I was like, oh. And then he fell asleep. But again, sir, clarify. You said, hi, thank you for the welcome. You're most welcome. Yes, you're new here. And you second, but da da da. It's like prickling, tugging. Okay, so 2 people said that. Now that 2 people have said it, I believe it. Well, no, I believed it when it was just 1 person. But yes, it's so nice to have you here. I always like when we have new people because I'm like, we're growing. This is our little community. So yes, it's so great to see you here, and I hope you are enjoying the story thus far and our little chat. You said BTW, you look great today. I do. Thank you. Well, that makes me feel really good because at first I felt a little flat because, like, my hair, I washed it this last night and then touched up my coloring. And so that caused my hair to not have as much volume. And I was just like, I'm not feeling my looks. So thank you. Thank you very much. Oh my gosh. So, anyway, we move on. We have the second young lady, his sister, Wan Chung's sister, she's coming to visit. But clearly, Wan Chung does not want to act, is what he says. He don't want to pretend. So, what's the problem? What's the real dynamic between this relationship? Obviously, not good, right? Just like obviously with Lady Leong, the dynamic isn't good. But I need more information on why these dynamics are not good. Okay. She must not actually care about him even though it seems like it because she's visited on multiple occasions, it appears. Um, and so now I just want to know, why is the dynamic the way it is? And why is it that it seems, other than his personal servants, no one is really truly cares for him? What are we doing? What's happening? So then we move to the final chapter of today, chapter 5. So Lu Wan Chung, he's improved a little bit, but he's improved. And he was even encouraged to like walk a little bit. And he did 2 steps. Ayo. I know what that feels like because when had my adenomyosis last year, sometimes I would get up and they get right back down because I was like, nope, not today. So I feel it. That man took 2 steps and he was like, whew, okay, I think that's enough. Like that's enough. But I have to go to this page, the opening page, because he says, nothing in the world is difficult as long as you're willing to give up. So I choose to give up. Again, another reason why I love his character. He's just, I feel like I want to make this a motto, but like not really because it's a bad motto. But I was like, um, this is the quote of the year. That's what this is for me. And now that I think about it, I need to make sure because until I've read the entire thing, this is also my favorite quote for volume 1. Nothing is difficult in this world as long as you give up. I choose to give up. So I need to type his name out as the one who said it. Oopsie. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Favorite quote of the year. He's such a salty fish and I love it. Means there's probably another person being groomed to be the heir. Yeah, but we just haven't met this person. And so I'm like, if that's the case, where is he? We are 5 chapters in and we still have not been introduced. So we have eventually Qing Yu gets to go back home and see his family as a newlywed. He really doesn't like being referred to as a newlywed wife, but it is what it is. So Lady Liang um, gives him 2 chests of gifts to take home, and it's the equivalent of what he brought, and that is custom. However many the bride brought over, that's how many will be sent back. And he's like, "No, I don't want it. It's not needed. You can keep it." This man stayed just like I know her eye probably be like this every time she interacts with Qingyu because he gives such a difficult time. And so we also learn that his parents are not materialistic people. They just care about his safety. And I was really happy to see that, because it would be one thing, really sucky thing, if not only was he forced into this marriage, but also his parents didn't care. Like a certain dynamic from a certain Danmei that we know, right? But in this one, clearly his family, like he knows that his family loves him. So he was like, just leave them for you and yours. It's fine. It's okay. And we even have one of his other servants, Hua Lu, is like, if you don't take them, people are going to gossip about you and that's going to suck. And he's like, people are already gossiping about my family. What's one more thing? Let them talk. I truly do not care. And so again, it's mentioned that homosexuality was very popular in the empire. You got high officials, dignitaries, they all got male concubines, even the emperor has one or two, but men cannot bear children. Thus, they cannot be the main wife, which he is. And because he is, this is like such a hot topic, right? He's the first one to become a wife through imperial permission. And we have the emperor. Let me make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself. Yes. In Great Yu, it's basically official marriage was one man and one woman, or one man, one woman, and some concubines. And the emperor made an exception specifically just for Wan Cheng's health. So now his family, Qingyu's family, is like infamous, for this. Really, really sucks. So he starts his day journey, as it said, to go to his family, but the emperor has now forced it. Yeah. So he starts his journey, but he makes a stop and he's like, hey, I want to stop here to buy some fine wine. I'm going to stop here to buy some candies. And I'm like, I want some of that. Can I have fine wine and candies too? Thank you. And we get to the point where his family is excited to see him. Okay, I have to go to this page because it says that before, he was getting there, his family was up early in the morning. Okay, when it was almost time for him to arrive, his mother took her younger son and servant boy who'd followed Lin Qingyu since childhood and stood at the doors. They were waiting, waiting. So wonderful. And then even before he gets there, his brother is like, oh my gosh, Gaga, Gaga. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. That's so cute. So yeah, his brother's like Gaga, and then Huan Tong, which is the servant boy that he grew up with, he's excited to see him too. In fact, it says he's as overjoyed as if his master had returned from the battlefield instead of the Marques's residence. I was like, so he came from a loving environment and had to go to this place where he's on guard against pretty much everyone except Wan Chung. That sucks. Yes. So far, I like Huan Tong. I mean, we don't have a lot on him from these chapters or even in the next ones, but I do like him. Also, just so you know, it's Huan Tong, one word and an N, but otherwise you spelled it perfectly. So let's see. His brother, by the way, Xing He, is 6 years old. He's in his adorable stage. Yay! And his father is currently tending to a visiting student whose name is Tan Qizhi. And apparently he's a little bit too annoyingly competitive, and it's a one-sided competitiveness. Kind of like those situations where it's like someone is competing with you, but you're like, what are we doing here? Like, you're irrelevant. I'm not competing with you. I can't stand people that do that. But anyway, that's all I will say to make sure I'm not speaking too far ahead. So, anyway, his mom made his favorite cake, which is plum blossom cake. And this Tanchiger is hella nosy. Like after you discovered that he was home, after you said hello, you should have been gone. Like you should have been like, you know what? You came back. Let me dip out of here so that you can spend time with your family. But no, he's just there. He's trying to spend all of his time there. And he is now currently my least favorite character, like more than Lady Liang. And I don't like Lady Liang, but he's my least favorite character. So then I have to point this out for now, and then it'll be pointed out later. But on page 57, he's like, Did you hide all the good gifts because you didn't want to give them to your parents? Because, he showed his father the wine and the candies, which his father was very happy about this wine. We saw from, where did it say? Okay, I'm not gonna. Oh, yes. It says he lifted the 2 jars of wine. His father smiled at him. His father was happy. Okay. So why is it that we have Tan Teacher all up in the business? Like, what are you doing? Did you hide the? Can you not read the room? If his father was satisfied with the gift, then you shouldn't be opening your mouth about anything, like at all. Correct? Correct. Yes, I am correct. And so also when it comes to Wan Chung not showing up, also, why are you talking? Stop talking. It is none of your business. Like, he's sick. Everybody knows that he's sick. Okay? So sick. He's been bedridden for years. Why are you over here tripping about the fact that that Ting Yu did not return here with his husband? Go home. And so even that comment that he made about hiding the good gifts from parents, it said that his father was like, don't say such nonsense. He's clearly not happy about it. Like, so, like, shut up. Okay. Don't say anything else. And he's like, I'm going to have some drinks with Tingyu and Teacher later. So then Tan Teacher is like, oh, I'm afraid, the rules don't allow that, because he's married. So how could I, an unrelated man, drink with him? And this is important. We'll say why, but it's important. And it says that Lin Tingyu's father glowered. Although Lin Tingyu was good looking and had joined the Marquez family as a male wife, the man still considered him as his son. And right now, Tan Tijer is just speaking out of turn at every opportunity. Like, sir, go sit down somewhere because everybody is tired of you. Tingyu is tired of you. His father is tired of you. I am tired of you. Are you not tired of yourself? Aren't you exhausted from all this talking in A and B conversations that you should see yourself out of? So, anyway, we get to that point, and then we have at the bottom of page 57. Yes, he is overstaying his welcome. Go home. Where um it says, Master, lady, your son-in-law is here. So of course I put, what? Excuse me? Who's here? So then we see where, Tingyu is like, who's here? Don't mislabel people. And Huan Tong is like, nope, this is definitely the right person. Okay. And so I love this family dynamic. I'm about to talk about it. This is like one of the last things I mentioned on page 58, because his father, Li Tingyu was like, okay, I'm going to go take a look myself. And then his father says, we'll go as well. And then it proceeds to say that Lu Wancheng was a man of high status. After all, if they neglected to greet him, someone with ulterior motives could spread rumors, like Tan Chiger. Anyway, if rumors reached the Marquess of Nan'an's residence, Lin Qingyu's situation would become even more dire. So it's such a shame that even his father has to think about something like this, because he's concerned about his son's well-being in the Nan'an residence. That he's like, oh, let me make sure I go out and greet him, because I don't want someone to spread a rumor and it to get back to them, just in case. But I love that he is thinking about it, because he knows the predicament that his son is in and he cares. So, bittersweet thing. The opposite of a certain other character from a certain other series that we know about. So anyway, eventually he goes to see that no, it is indeed Wan Chong that's here. Like, he's here. And he even gets out of his wheelchair to greet the Leans, which to me is like you definitely could have used your excuse. You could have used your wheelchair as an excuse to not get up. So the fact, I mean, not your wheelchair, your illness as an excuse to not get up, and it would have been perfectly fine. So the fact that he still took that opportunity, that moment to show that form of respect, I was just like, guy, I really, really like you. So then the last little bit, we have Wan Chung very much clearly messing with Tan Seeger. And I was very, very happy about it because also Tingyu's little brother thinks that Wan Chung is handsome. So that's nice. So you said it's 3 p.m. Why are you crying face? I mean, it's a smile, but it's a tear. What's wrong? Is it because you're just now getting here? Oh, AM. Okay. Well, that's late. Well, fortunately for you, we're almost done because we're on the last page. so, um, so we have it where he looks over at Tom Teacher and he's like, "Who the hell are you?" And he was like, "I'm Tom Teacher." And then he's like, Chong what huh? Of because he said he's Tom Teacher of the Chong Si He apothecary. So he's like, Chong what huh? And he's like, Chong Si He. What Si He? Chong Si He. Chong Si what? I was like, oh my gosh, not you messing with this man, but thank you for messing with this man. And I think he very deliberately did that. He must know something about this guy. But Tingyu is like, what is wrong with you today? Like, what are you doing? So anyway, I thought it was funny. And he came to support Tingyu. And that was very nice. But of course, Tingyu does not want his support. He's like, you can actually just go back home. And he was like, "Well, this is thanks for the acupuncture and the medicine." He's like, "No, you can go home." And I like it. It just ends with, "That's a bit much, pal." Like to record this long journey I made here, you're gonna tell me to go back home? Come on. So that is actually the end of all of that. So the next chapters, chapters 6 through 10, are going to be reviewed tomorrow, actually. So, reviewing, oh, hold on. Let me just sit that there. Actually, I'll even put you up there. So, that was it. I have to say, just from these first 5 chapters alone, I am greatly enjoying the series. I feel like it's going to be something that I'm going to like. It has a very what am I trying to say? The vibe is very much different from QJJ. Yeah, but I like it. So I feel like there are a couple of announcements that I need to make, and I want to make them right now. Obviously, tomorrow we are meeting again, but we're going to meet at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time instead of 2:30, so it's just 30 minutes earlier. And then on Friday, we are going to meet to discuss chapters 65 through 75 of QJJ Volume 2, closing all of that out. And then on Sunday, on the 8th at 11 a.m., we are going to read the opening chapters of QJJ Volume 3, which I forgot to bring that book in here. 1 second. Hold on. Actually, wait, yes. Okay, I meant to bring this in here. They translated the apothecary name in the fan translation. It feels even funnier over there. The vibe is vibing. There's drama later. I'm expecting it. You're just yeah. It's the translation on Chrysanthemum Garden. Is it still on Chrysanthemum Garden though? Is it not removed? Is it the one on the YouTube playlist? That I do not know. Okay, so we're starting volume 3 on Sunday, which whoa, look at them riding. Anyway, look at them riding on the horse. Yep. So we are going to read the summary now. That's good to know. Actually, no. I don't know if I want to read the summary now because hold on. I'll make sure there are no spoilers in the summary. Okay. I don't think there's anything spoilery. Um my bro Snow Crest. Yeah, Snow Crest is looking very strong and he's got the cute little patch of white in there. So cute. Um the ending of the chapter, Chef's Kiss. So, I don't think it's spoilery. Desperate measures. Okay. You said we're not caught up on YouTube. I know. That's why I just sat here and read to make sure there were no spoilers in the summary. Yeah. We'll read the summary. Oh no, we'll read the summary on Sunday. But cuz I don't think it's spoilery, but it, I think the first sentence is spoilery, but not the rest of it. Yeah, that's weird. So we'll leave it alone. But you guys can at least see the cover. I'm trying to get the little sticky stuff off of it. But yeah, so we've got a lot of live sessions from today to Sunday. We have today, tomorrow, Friday, Sunday. And then we have Monday again because we're meeting Mondays and Thursdays. I've gone ahead and just declared Mondays and Thursdays be the days where we go live with each other for all of our offline readings. So, of course, once we finish these, we'll be back to The Wife Comes First, Mondays, Thursdays at 2 p.m., unless something is going on and it has to be 2:30 p.m. for me. Yeah. So, is that the only other announcement? The only other announcement I have for anyone who is not on our Discord, but you would like to be, I'm going to give you the invite link in just a second. Hold on. There we go. Okay. You love my outfit? Thanks. It's so plain Jane. Mickey. Actually, the back of this jacket is really nice. But thank you. So yeah, we have a Discord. There is a chat or a forum specifically for salted fish. And for QJJ, which is what we're currently doing. We have lots of areas. That's all I'll say. And woo, that's cold. So, yeah. How are you guys liking these first 5 chapters? I know some of you have binged. Like NFS. I'm calling out NFS. But I know some of you have binged, but how are you guys liking this story thus far? Like, is it tickling your fancy? Suki Hua says, I love it. Neko loves it so far. I'm sorry. Loves it so far. You love the first 5 chapters. I think they were really good. And I honestly also like the next 5 chapters. I had to make sure. You're very entertained. It is very entertaining. You said Sit's adorable. I think you mean it's adorable. Yes, it is adorable. I think Wan Chung is my favorite character at the moment. Who's you guys's? I know we haven't been revealed to a lot of characters, but Wan Chung is my favorite main character. And then my least favorite character is Tan Teacher, which for anyone who needs the spelling, what am I doing? There we go. You said you read it in the past and really enjoy the group reread. Hey. You love how much our MC thinks about poisoning people in his head. He does. Like, he's like, I could just poison you, you know? I could poison you real easily. You wouldn't even see it coming. It's exciting to get to next week. Yeah. You love salty fish, but enjoyed seeing the pictures this time. Yeah. We didn't have any pictures in these first 5 chapters other than, of course, like the front pictures. Actually, I was reading and I was like, gosh, why have I still not come across a picture yet? What are we doing? You haven't found a reader for the official translation that you like? I don't think there's anyone who has read the official on YouTube or anywhere for that matter. Good night, or I mean, goodbye. How's mine? See you tomorrow. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone reading it officially. The officials, I mean. Had you known it was potential outside POV of transmigration, you would have been far more interested initially. You're deciding whether to read QJJ Volume 2 or the next 5 chapters of MTSF. What's MTSF? Or did you mean TMSF? Thrice Married to a Salted Fish? Because at first when I saw at first I was like mistakenly saving. Wait, nope, no, that's not right. Well, do you want to join the chat tomorrow? Because if you want to join the chat tomorrow, then read the next 4 chapters of 5 chapters of Thrice Married. You would read it if you owned the books. You need to order them now. Yes, you do. You need to order them now. What are you doing? Get your priorities in order. Oh, you found one on Spotify? Huh. That's cool, but you don't like it, so I guess it's not really cool. No, it's still cool that someone's reading it. She doesn't do the voices and whatnot. Oh. Yeah, I think some people just like to read, and some people like to be dramatic. And some people like to be both. And I fall in that bubble of being dramatic and reading. So you got mine when I made the post. Oh yeah, like, hey, you better get it if you don't have it. Yeah. It's I thought about reading this one, out loud, but I don't want every Don May that I own to be read out loud. Like some of them I just want to be able to enjoy in my head and just enjoy in the moment. And even with this, I'm still not enjoying it in the same way that I would if I was just reading for myself, because I'm reading and stopping to take notes like every 5 seconds. And even when I take notes in my own time, except for with like QJJ, they wouldn't be this extensive. Like it would be a much smoother read. So, some of the books that I have, people might ask, "Are you going to read this one?" And I'm just kind of like, "No, I'm just going to enjoy that one in my own time," and then maybe sometime years from now, and I might read it out loud for y'all. But like some things I just want to read for myself. You need to get your job first. Just finished moving. Oh, yeah, you did. Read it up to chapter 69. Yeah. I did see that it was unfinished and I was just like, oof. But I still gave it to the people that may need it because, the Spotify goes up to. Uh, Reading out loud is pretty hard on the voice too. Um, it depends. I guess if you're not like taking care of yourself, like taking care of yourself vocally, I usually don't have any issues. The only time I have issues is when I record for like 4 hours in a day, which isn't all the time. Then I really am tired. But like the daily reading for me, it's actually not that bad at all. It's not bad. You said this coming from an actor. Yeah. And see, I grew up, in choirs, and so we would perform all the time, and it was nothing. And we're singing and projecting more then. So like the reading stuff for me, super easy. Um, the hardest part about it is mistakes. That is the hardest part about it. Because I'm like, shoot, I made a mistake, the reading. Also, really random, but I was on TikTok. I was going to say yesterday, but technically it's been the past couple of days, because our phones listen to us. And I've come across a lot of people reading official books on TikTok. Like they're showing people their recording session because they got the deal to read it. But it's showing me a lot of white women reading books. And no, not what I'm saying is not about to be like anything bad, but it's showing me all white women that are reading these books. And I kid you not, all of them have the exact same voice. Like they sound pretty much like the same person. And I was just kind of like, what are we doing here? Is there really like the audiobook voice to have for official audiobooks? I don't know how I feel about that. So like even listening to Kickter, or listening to Gay Watch, or even listening to just someone else reading is such a different and better experience because they sound different. But every single time I come across one on YouTube, I mean on TikTok, and it's a different person every time, they all still sound the same. Like it's almost like they have this standard white girl audiobook sound, which is nothing wrong with that. But like I'm just like, why does everybody sound this like Susan? Or no, not Susan. Why does everybody sound like Becky? Like, it's really funny. You said which books though? I don't I don't know. Cuz I don't even like I'm on TikTok and I'm giving book recommendations that are all Donmei and everything, but I kid you not, I am not a book talker. I don't give two F's about book talk or the books that they read. I don't read any of those books, so I have no idea what books they are. Like no clue whatsoever. You said you read quite fast, but you're enjoying QJJ read along because it allows you to take notes and enjoy it slowly. It's one to be enjoyed slowly, at least the first time around. Uh, the angle, wait, where'd it go? The angle this book is going with is so much fun. Love, love, love. I agree. Legend of Exorcism and Astrolabe Rebirth have official audiobooks, but I don't like them. Oh, it sucks to hear that you don't like them. That sucks a lot. But we're gonna be reading Legend of Exorcism, so I hope I like it, so I don't DNF it. And then, of course, I deleted chapter 7 onward for Astrolabe, so you were about to mention those two. Did you like the readers? Oh, you're leaving, so you probably won't be able to answer that question. It was robotic. That's something that I was talking to people about too, as far as like listening to official audiobooks. They all sound like too perfect, at least the ones that I've listened to. Like, I get it. We want the crisp sound and everything, which is why, I got a better mic that hopefully will filter out more noise and stuff. But it sounds, I don't know. I like being in an atmosphere. Like, I'm not reading TGCF, but in the one time I did, just get on the live to see, I liked the atmosphere of just like imperfection. Is that weird? But it was nice to see Kictor reading in her voice and then, say something wrong and be like, "Oh, I need to go back." Or, even listening to Brittany and being, saying a sentence, and I do this too. She's like, "Oh, I said that in the wrong voice," and then go back and read it again. It's just like it's a completely different experience. And I wish, actually, I was about to say I wish audiobooks would go in that direction, but then I feel like if it does, then it's going to be ruined some way somehow. So maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, they sound too robotic, too perfect, and just manufactured, which is why I often don't listen to audiobooks. The only time I've listened to an audiobook recently and I liked it was when I listened to Odyssey by Homer, because I needed help with that one. I love the Odyssey, but like I mean, the language is written in English, but not English. So I was like, I need some help. And this British man read it to me. So that's what I needed. I needed the British man. How's everyone doing? Hey, nice to see you. It's evening for you. Whoa. You hear your mom listening to audiobooks and you can never tell if it's a different person or not. Glad to know I'm not alone. I'm like, this is the same person that just read this book over there, which great for them if they're getting so many opportunities. But from what I've seen on TikTok, that is not the case. It's literally someone else, and they just making the same voice. You know, um, like we need to diversify the voices. I'm doing great though. How are you? You're bad at reading out loud because dyslexia. Oh, that's okay. Bye, Suki Hua. Enjoy the rest of your day. Or if it's nighttime, have a good night. By the way, I meant to say. Okay, Vico thinks that LOE is nice. Mm. The crazy thing is I can actually deal with robotic voicing. For example, when I am on what do you call it? AO3, but let's say maybe my eyes are just too tired to read and I highlight it and just have the computer read it to me. For some reason my brain is okay with that. But if I'm hearing a human not doing it well, and I can't deal with that. It just drives me crazy. Good night, Tiglis. Have a beautiful sleep. Was you like listening to my Thousand Autumns? Got to reread it. I eventually actually want to re-record it. Just the first book. But then now I'm like, gosh, I have this mic. I don't want the quality of volume 1 to be so good and then volume 2 through 5 just sounds mediocre. Cuz I'm not going to reread the entire series, but volume 1 was without my mic and so I don't know. We'll see about that one. You'd rather straight up listen to Google Books. Read to you. Yeah, with fake sounding people. Yeah. Yeah. We said, but you had a good time. You've been loving watching Gay Watch TGCF. The reactions are hilarious. Yeah. I may listen. I may. I may. We'll see. I did try reading TGCF again a couple weeks ago and I was just like, I can't do it. You don't listen to audiobooks alone, you need the book. That is how I did it with some. I was like, "Let me open the book and you're helping me read, but I'm still like, yeah, we expect the computer to sound stiff. Mm-mm, but not a person. Mhm. You struggle with words out loud. Mm. Your browser has option for AO3 out loud, and you hate when the Chinese names sound so. I don't know about your computer, but on mine, I wonder if I can show you this because I thought it was really, really cool. Uh, Actually, let me put it on screen too. So if we go on screen two, let me get rid of this really quickly. I'm going to open my crap. Where is it? Settings. And I'm trying to remember. Oops, did I pronunciations? And this is like for Apple, so I don't know if it's going to be that case for everyone, but pronunciations, boom, here we are. So then what did I click on? Edit pronunciations. And you can add, as you can see, I have added so many. So I'm not sure if it'll do a good job, but uh, let's say it said that name weird, which it really shouldn't. Shoyo.
Shoyo. Shoyo. Shoyo. Shoyo. Shoyo. Shoyo.
Shoyo sounds a little smoother. Add it. Boom. And you can even show like you know, pronunciation for English, blah blah blah. Boom. So then when I go and highlight the text, it puts like it'll say it that way. I shouldn't have gotten rid of that. I should have kept it up because there were a couple of examples that I could have let me see if it'll okay. So like even with it would say like Katsuki. And so now it's will it play it? Okay, it won't play it. But now it says Katsuki. But then of course there's with the possessive. So then I had to teach it that too. Katsukis. So it works really well, I think. Very well. Or how it says like kaken. So I was like, please say kachan before I die. But that's a little helper for anyone who has an Apple device. You a laptop. I don't know if it's for all their devices, but that is something that you can do to help make life easier when listening to it. And I've got some Chinese names. Well, I had some in my last laptop. I got to put them in this one, but that'll happen once I actually start reading a Chinese fan fiction again. So there you have it. I hope that helps. Uh, you said you do voices when you read out loud. Hmm. I think that's nice. Despite the fact that you're dyslexic, hey, decent enough to bring someone into a story. You skipped to volume two. Wait, you skipped? You didn't want to listen to volume one. Why did you skip? Oh my gosh. You said, "Oh, that's cool." Right? I was like, "That's very convenient. Very, very convenient." Is this the right one? This is the coconut cashew flavor. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Um, this is the inside. No one asked, but there you go. So anyway, I think I've said all I need to say as far um as all announcements are concerned. On No, I'll save that announcement for another time. Oh, to see if Windows does it. I hope so. I'm gonna sit here for a second just so you can tell me if it does. But then after that, we're gonna go. You don't know why? Isn't the Banyue arc in volume one? Because if so, I probably would skip two. I have to cook today, you guys. Yes, you and I, Cookielicious, are with one accord. So yes, it must be Banyue arc. Maybe that's why I couldn't read TGCF out loud when I tried. For those of you who don't know, because I said it in my Discord, I did try to read one chapter of TGCF. I read chapter one. I recorded it and I was like, let me just try. It was a no. It was a major no. Mm, you wanted to get there sooner. Oh yeah, I feel that. I've also rewatched season 1 of TGCF enough that like I don't want to deal with anything that happened in volume 1 anymore. I totally feel that. Nothing here is fixing on fixing pronunciation. That sucks. Boo. Yeah, I do feel like if you want to know what happened in book 1, just watch it. Still don't ever plan on reading TGCF on my channel, but if for some strange reason I did, it might make a lot of people be like, "Why?" But I would definitely skip volume 1. I'd be like, "Just go watch it. Just go listen on Gay Watch. Go listen with Kictor, and then you can come back if you want." So, all right. That is it, you all. As I said, I do have to cook. I could continue my life without eating real made food, but I have a husband that I need to feed. Kictor is doing Yuwu next. God bless her heart. Let's I would love to say pray for her peace, but like it's not gonna happen. I wish her the best. Oof. I would recommend it to anyone, but whew. Yeah, that's not an easy one to read. That is the most difficult Danmei I have ever read on my channel. And gosh, it's gosh. Now I'm like having flashbacks. I'm having postpartum depression. I'm thinking about it. You don't want to leave. You want to be a salted fish, but have to work to get money for book. Get that money, honey. Yes. So, anyway, let's stop for here. We are going to see each other again tomorrow. We just dilly dally in here. But I wish you all a beautiful day. If you're kind of late into your evening, then I wish you a great evening, a great night, beautiful sleep, get some rest. If you are starting your day, then I hope you have a magnificent day and that this was a good start to it. And I'm so excited to discuss the next 4 chapters with you all. And yeah, well, Neiman, sarang hey. I don't know why I said it like that. Goodbye. Go read those chapters, Neko. Homework. Boo. Bye bye.